Hi, hi, hi. Guess what's getting ready to happen? The E Spot with Jeremy is going to be here. This is a very special edition just to share and celebrate his new show coming in. I don't have a drum roll effect, but I feel like you need a drum roll effect. My
I
best
mean,
friend, my everything, my Jeremy Austin is here.
oh,
Like,
hi
number
Camille,
one
how are you?
fan.
I love the merch rep. Thank you.
Right. You can get it off of dragqueenmerch.com.
Dragqueenmerch.com. Ding.
So how are you, Jeremy?
I'm really good. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm great now. I get to see you.
I know.
How's everything going?
It's going good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been wild to
Yeah.
even think that we would be where we are right now is
Mhm.
insane. Insane.
It's
I
been
I never would have thought this time last year that I would be where I am right now.
yeah.
Um, because it was I just never could have imagined being in this
I don't
position.
think anybody could.
Yeah.
Well, not only with like coronavirus, but also your career is just kind of taken off after
Yeah.
years and years of, well, I know your story, but
Yeah.
share with everyone that might be watching because there's no such, usually there's no such things as overnight sensation. It just looks like one. And you've just been
Yeah.
exploding.
Well, the crazy thing is that for years prior to moving to Los Angeles, I was relatively successful in my career because I didn't
Mhm.
really know what I wanted to do with it. I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. So I was just kind of walking into the next best thing. People would say, "Oh, you're a hairstylist. You should have a salon. Oh, you're a makeup artist. You should have a makeup line." I did all of those things relatively to the best of my ability. But here's the thing.
I still have some of your makeup, just an FYI. The
I
gold
just,
dust trick you taught
I,
me, still use
yeah,
that.
I'm not, um, I am not I am great on the creative end. I'm not
Mhm.
really great when it comes to bookkeeping and managing people. I can manage myself. So
Yes.
for me, a it was like, okay, this is the next indicated step, but it wasn't something that I really like stepped into with a lot of excitement because I just didn't want
Mm.
to. I never wanted to be someone's boss. I never wanted to be somebody's, supervisor. I didn't want to be the owner of anything. I just want to be a creative artist and do what I do and keep pumping out things as they come in my head because they do come in my head. And now, I mean, 10 years later after being in Los Angeles and going through my trials and tribulations and my ups and downs as everyone does,
Mhm.
here in Los Angeles, it is not one of those places that you can just move to and expect to be embraced by the community or by the industry by any means. It takes a lot more work than what people think. And as many times as I've been knocked down, I've definitely gotten back up.
Mhm.
And this last year has been a wild, wild ride. But it's all it, it all is a cumulative effect on the fact that I have built relationships with people that have gotten opportunities, that have given me opportunity, that have now opened up doors for me. And
Mhm.
it really just is about how you treat people and how you
100%.
show up to work every day. And this project that was given to me uh, last year, the opportunity that was given to me last year was something that I said,
You earned that opportunity. Words matter.
well, I mean, sorry for the cop cars outside.
You live in LA.
Yeah, they're probably telling someone to put their mask on.
The
um,
horror, yeah.
but
Mhm.
yeah, Eureka, the
Mhm.
queen that I work with, and who is a dear, dear friend of mine. She's like a sister to me.
Mm.
She was in the park the other day without her mask on, and the cop pulled her over and told her she had to put her mask on or go home.
Oh,
So
wow.
thank.
Well, I heard there's like a big time ticket there, like $1,000, so she's really lucky she got a warning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's major. It's
Yeah.
major here. They're not really messing around. But you also know LA. You used to live here. You know what LA is like.
I miss it so much.
I
Well, I miss the
know.
weather and the people. Oh, I guess I miss everything about it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the weather, I was about ready to break out this fan because it is so hot here.
We
It's
have the
like
opposite
90.
problem.
It's like 90 degrees here right now.
Mm,
We went from quarantine to 90.
wow. Like, forget
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah.
But
Um,
speaking of you working with Eureka, how did that opportunity come about to even work with him to get to this point that you're at? Because you're like, even the job that you had with Sam Smith, I feel like that was a little bit before that. But what do you think was that pivotal moment that kind of changed your trajectory to where you are now?
well, I mean, honestly, I owe 100% of where I am right now to getting sober. That is the number one thing. I couldn't imagine my life not being sober.
I'm so
And
proud of
so
you.
I think that everything that is gifted to me and all of the time
Mm,
that is awarded to me in this moment in time, I feel like that all is conducive of sobriety and my connection with my higher power. I think that those are the two things that will separate anyone from being successful and just being able to maintain.
that makes sense. Yeah. So, speaking of your sobriety,
Hmm.
and you speak about it all the time because it's like your hashtag sober queen. How difficult is it for you? Because so many people right now, I feel, are going to be going to AA meetings and NA meetings once this whole quarantine is over, maybe, or
Yeah.
start realizing they're self medicating a lot with things that won't serve them well. Do you have any advice for that, or when, or even for like the family members around them in that sense, like signs or things that anything you would like to share just to help others who might be thinking
Yeah.
of or
I
noticing?
think I think as far as family members are concerned, the true signs of someone that's really going through something and isn't wanting to be honest with you about it is the deceit and the lies that
Yeah.
go along with it. There's a level of shame that goes along with drug abuse and alcohol abuse um, that is hard to face when you're using. And it's almost humiliating or embarrassing to tell someone that
Mm,
you're struggling or that you're having a problem. I know that you and I personally have gone through that where
yeah,
I was in a state of disrepair and was I had to just be honest with you. It was after the fact, but I had to be honest with you.
yeah.
And
I
I'm
had
so
no
grateful,
idea.
but I'm also so grateful for you for just, not drawing attention to it and allowing me to just kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
But I
I
think
mean,
for any family member that's going through it, the first sign is usually that they're not able to hold themselves to their word. And
mm,
when a person is not capable of holding themselves to their own word, you said you were going to be here at 4. Why are you here at 5:30? Or why didn't you show up at all? That's a warning sign that somebody's not able, because your word is really all you have. So,
right.
when you say you're going to do something, you should do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for anybody out there really struggling right now with using drugs or alcohol as a way and a means to cope, it's not easy to sit with yourself. It is not easy to sit inside of your home and be there with your thoughts.
Mm,
But if this is difficult for you, now is the time to really get involved with yourself and figure out why it is difficult for you to be with yourself. Um,
mm,
and so using this as an opportunity right now to really check in with yourself and be like, hey, there's some things about myself or about my environment that I don't necessarily like. Now is giving the universe is literally stopping to
yeah.
give you an opportunity to catch up so that you don't get left behind. So for me, I feel like it's really important for the people that really want to be successful. And I believe me, I know as far as somebody that's really ambitious and really wants to be
Mhm.
successful, working on this show gave me an opportunity to go do things and see things that I had not done before and put something on my resume that I never thought I would have another opportunity to get that
Mm,
chance. And but I did. I do two things. I do makeup and hair, and then I also do drag. And so I kind of put my drag career on hold to go do this show, and
mhm.
then figured once I came back from filming the show, I would just go guns a blazing into the drag career again. But here's the thing with a drag career: you need people, you need an
Yeah.
audience. And
Yeah.
so we're figuring out ways. One of my drag sisters, Ray Latre, her and I have
Yes, quarantine queens.
we thought up Quarantine Queen, and we were just sitting there talking about what we were going to do in the very first beginning days of quarantine, and decided that the best idea would be to do a drag show live and online and just keep it coming just like it normally would be for us here in West Hollywood. Monday,
Mhm.
Wednesday, and Friday, just be out there busy, 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 and just keep being seen and keep holding the members of our community that follow us and know us and come see us out in the club, just keep that going, so
Mhm.
that when this was all over, and we do know this, there will be an end point for it
Yeah.
at some point. But
Hopefully
when that
sooner than
is,
later, but
yeah,
whenever it is. Yeah.
whenever that is, we're going to still be doing what we're doing. So why stop? Why stop?
Now, because I have this opportunity to talk to someone who's been through it and is on the other side, I have to ask this as well because there's so many people that are suffering. And like you said, make sure they sit with themselves. But what are you doing kind of every day to just kind of keep yourself more in the moment and not worry about any, like, relapsing or, like, even people who may be bothering you, like, anytime you don't call them back and be like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you like,
Right,
how do you deal with that? Because I know for myself, even though I decided to be sober on my own choosing, that people are always, like, asking, like, "Oh, are you drinking now? Are you drinking now?" I'm like, "No,
yeah.
still not drinking."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the
it's a
thing with
choice. Yeah.
drugs and alcohol is that, we as human beings, we love a lesser companion. We love someone who's worse
Mm.
off. We love to compare ourselves to the people that are better off, and we love to pin ourselves against the people that we feel are doing worse than we are. That's how we
Mhm.
find our placement in the world. So if I have a problem and I'm contacting you and I'm like, "Hey, you giving in yet? You hitting the
Right.
bottle? Are you whatever you're doing?" And that gives me an opportunity to kind of place myself and rate myself
Mhm.
on what I think good is in the world, like what I think my best is. If I compare it with someone that I think is doing worse than I am, then it
Yeah.
makes me feel like I'm not doing so bad. So,
That's a good
uh,
point. Misery loves that company.
yeah, I mean, we as human beings, the human race is so funny because we love to see people come up. We love
Mhm.
the idea of a comeback story because it gives us hope.
Right.
But we also love to watch someone fail because it makes them human. And sometimes I feel like we put celebrity and we put people in these compartments that are um,
Like a hierarchy.
yeah,
Yeah.
we put them in a almost iconic, right?
Mhm.
Icons. They become icons and role models, and these icons and role models are really just human beings. We put these
With
capes on
exceptional
them
jobs, yeah.
and paint them gold, and we decide that we're going to exalt them on high,
Mm.
and really they're just human beings like everyone else. So when we see these people who were once exonerated or once put up on these pedestals fall, it means that they're human. And I think for me, I used to be one of those people that used to love to witness somebody. I remember 2007, Britney Spears. I loved watching the chaos that surrounded that woman.
I do
But
believe we had a lot of phone calls during that time.
but I do remember
Yeah.
also being that person who was also extremely chaotic, and I loved watching her because her mess wasn't half as bad as mine was.
Right.
So I
Because
was
I don't
like,
think
well,
you've
I mean,
ever shaved your head.
yeah, I'm bad, but I'm not just shaving my head and running around with the umbrella.
Although I think the picture I have of us is with your short hair, and I'm like, I always forget his short hair because you didn't have it long. Like, when I met you, you had a bob,
Yeah,
and then yeah, like, you've
and then
always had the
well,
most beautiful hair.
oh, thank you. Well, when Christina got sick with cancer, my other best friend,
Mm,
my childhood
yeah.
best friend, when she got sick with cancer, I cut off all my hair because she lost all
Ah,
her
okay.
hair. So that
That's
was during
why.
that time.
Okay. I didn't put that 2 together now that I'm saying that. Now, so another question again, 'cause
I'm
I
here
have a
for
sober person that's
it.
openly sober,
Yeah.
and I have this issue that I deal with as well when I'm out places, people will try to, like, hide that they're drinking or this and like you can't have a good time. And since you clearly work at a drag club and are constantly surrounded by alcohol and so on, what kind of words or verbiage would you give someone who maybe is new and trying to explain to people, A, I'm not here to police your fun, but B, I can still have a good time and not have to worry about the other stuff.
Well, for me, my sobriety is my choice.
Right.
My celibacy, if my choices, my decisions, those are on me. Those are the things that I decide for myself. And when I do those things, when I commit to something, I do that no matter what. And so the first part of no matter what is no. So I don't go out
Mm,
into clubs and I don't expect people to um, entertain my sobriety, and I'm not there to entertain their messiness. So if I don't like something, I'm free to leave at any point in time that I choose.
right.
No matter what show I'm in, no matter what club I'm in, if it gets to be too much for me, I'll usually look at the person who booked me and I'll be like, "It's getting to be a much," and I'll
Okay.
leave.
Oh, good. So
Um,
you have that conversation with them beforehand to even
yeah,
set those boundaries. That's
well,
awesome.
I think being able to set that up and just say, hey, listen, I know this is a party environment. I know what I'm walking into. I know I'm probably, it's like walking into a barn. You're bound to step in shit. Um,
Yeah.
but the one thing that I won't do is partake in it, and that's where the no matter what comes. And that's when, when it's offered, my very first thing is absolutely not, it's not even a question. You were asking me how the quarantine has affected my sobriety and how um, I'm getting through that. For me, that's not even an option. So I have to figure out something else, everything else but drugs and alcohol. And that's how I'm able to really maintain that level
No,
of
no.
sobriety and to continue with the consistency of it.
I can't thank you enough for sharing all of that because I know it's gonna help a lot of people, and I know it helped me just hearing you. Because sometimes we talk about these things, but
Yeah.
hearing you word it like that, it's definitely kicked in. So now we're gonna talk about more fun things since you
Yeah.
brought up barns. Perfect segue
Small
to
town
we're
America.
here.
Yeah, we're here.
So tell us a little bit about your new show and how
So,
like, what's the premise?
so We're Here is a show created by Johnny and Steven um, Ingram, and they are, I forget Steven's last name, but I know Johnny's last name is Ingram. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but yeah, Johnny and Steven created the show. HBO is the outlet that picked it up. And I get to work with three people that I have worked with individually outside of the show. And the show has given me an opportunity to know all three of these people on an individual basis, even further than what I had hoped for.
Right.
I've always been a fan of Bob the Drag Queen. And ever
Or
since
she's
I met
fabulous.
him on his season of Drag Race, I
Mm,
have been a huge fan. He's just so talented and such a beautiful person. And
mm,
he is very impactful both in my life as a performer and my life as a man. Um, you know, Bob is somebody who has been through everything like
mm.
I have, and is filled with wisdom and knowledge beyond measure.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
Shangela
Well,
is
how did wait,
someone.
let's back up just one sec. How did that opportunity come about? Like, how did you even get involved in the show?
So Eureka, my sister
Okay.
Eureka O'Hara, came to me one day at the club, and she said, "Hey, I had painted her face once before for a music video, and
Mhm.
she said, hey, I have this opportunity for you. If you're interested in it, they're going to be calling you within a next couple weeks." And I thought, it's LA. And I've heard, hey, I got this thing for
Yeah.
you, this shiny golden carrot.
Mhm.
What can you help me with, or what can you do for me? And I've had that so many times before. And
Absolutely.
it's just the way of the industry out here. It's the way of the
Mhm.
land. And so I didn't really get my hopes up
Okay.
until they called, bitch. They called. They
Yeah.
called and they were like, "Hey, this is so and so with this production company. We're going to be doing a show with HBO." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Budget?
I was like, "What?" And all you want me to do is makeup. drag makeup, which I love to do,
And
and
you're
work with
phenomenal.
someone that I love to work with, and you're going to pay me to go travel the country with it. So in June of last year, we went to go film the pilot, and I got to work with my sister Eureka. It was unbelievable. I didn't really know what I was walking into
Right.
going into it, but when we went to go film the pilot episode in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania,
Speaking of
get
barns.
Gettysburg, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Well, and also too, it was one of those things where you had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and it was all. I've signed non-disclosures, but I've never signed non-disclosures on things like this. This was like really
Mhm.
intense. So I went completely off social media. I didn't really call
Mhm.
anybody. Um, I think I may have talked to you once or twice while I was away, but that was
Yeah.
really it. Um,
No, I remember the conversations. You were like, "I can't tell you what I'm doing or where I'm at, but I just had" like, you would tell me what you were
Spoon bread.
eating or yeah, spoon bread. I didn't wanna say the wrong things every time. I'm like, "It doesn't make sense that it's called spoon bread,"
It's
but
spoon bread. You
yeah.
know what's so crazy is that you don't realize in this country, because it's all one country, you don't
Mhm.
realize how it varies and differs state to state.
Right.
Every single state has something that they're very proud of, and that they hold dear and near to their heart. And in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, I learned about the Civil War, and I learned about the Gettysburg Address, and I learned
Yeah.
about spoon bread, and that was what they were most proud of, was this like little bowl of bread that you like scoop out with a spoon. It was like kind of cornmealy. It wasn't my favorite,
Yeah, well,
but I also don't eat bread.
I was gonna say, speaking of someone like, I know your healthy habits, so I was like, "Wow, I don't know what's more fascinating, that you were eating carbs or that you were eating it with a
Exactly.
spoon in Gettysburg."
Exactly. Exactly. But so we
Yeah,
went to film the pilot episode. We were there for 2 weeks, and
okay.
then we came back. And when I came back, I was I was still doing the couch hopping thing. Like I was still struggling from, my addiction, the years of me abusing myself and abusing my body and myself mentally and physically and spiritually for that matter.
And
Uh,
financially for that matter too.
and
Yeah.
financially, coming back from being homeless is not easy to do. And this opportunity gave me another opportunity to put some money away and save and be able to get my own place. So I'm stable finally. And that's not something that I did not think this time last year that I would be where I am right now. And I mean, I could get misty and teary eyed about it, but it's so
I don't do
exciting
Barbara
to not.
Walter stuff. We're all
Yeah.
fun over here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so great to
Yeah.
really put in the work and see the results and be a part of something so freaking amazing.
Yes.
We're here is the brainchild of two really amazing gay men that live here in West Hollywood. They wanted to go out there and they wanted to show people what the power of drag had on small town people and small towns all over America. So we went to 6 different towns in the United States, and each drag queen got to pick a person that they wanted to be in this show. And we basically had a week from the time that we landed until the time we were taking off. We had a week in which to produce a show. And in order to produce that show, you need makeup and hair and costuming and of course the talent, and so we would literally infiltrate these small towns with this major production,
Yeah.
and it was
And a gay
crazy to.
production at that. So I'm sure was there any challenges or
Oh, of course. I mean,
I
we're
mean,
talking. They didn't pick Vegas or Miami or Chicago. Like they
yeah.
went to like Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We went to um, Twin Falls, Idaho. We went to uh, Farmington, New Mexico. We went to some places. Oh, we went to Ruston, Louisiana.
Ah, my
So
state.
yeah, so we
Apparently, I
went
was
to
born there.
we went some really really small
Oh,
places
wow.
where the gay population was like slim to none, and
Okay.
and it was tough. There were a lot of times where, I'll be honest with you, I was afraid. I was very afraid because of the
That's
reactions
sad.
from the people that were locally there, not wanting us to
Mm.
be there in any way, shape, or form.
Oh,
And
that's horrible.
people in small towns are not afraid to tell you how they feel.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that element as well. I mean, I thought of, like, just not having access to a lot of great things, but I didn't think about that you would run into in this day and age. I feel like so much has changed with gay marriage being accepted, and I mean, I know there are different shootings and things that have happened, but still, I just feel like most of America has,
Well,
by
you
now,
said
at
it,
least have a gay relative
but
to
you said it
turn them
right there
over.
on the head. You said that it's accepted. Gay
Mhm.
marriage is not necessarily accepted. It's legal. But
Mm.
being accepted is another. Being accepted and being tolerated, that's a completely different ball of wax.
I
You know,
can totally relate to that
it's like,
as
of course you can.
yeah, with
You know,
interracial relationship in the South.
oh yeah,
Oh,
interracial
fun times.
relationships, or just being uh, being anything other than white. Like, it's legal for you to be here, but I don't have to like you.
Right. That's
So,
very true.
and I have seen the faces, honey, when you go walking through a very predominantly white, you know, area, and you just don't look like you look uncomfortable, or you'll be like, oh, this is really tough. It's hard
Mhm.
to believe that it exists, but it really does still exist. And
No, I get that because even now, whenever I go places with my husband, if I'm the only minority there, I get PTSD, I'm ready to go.
well, you're
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's also very prevalent. Like, it's very
Mhm.
evident that everyone else knows.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that I picked up on it this time. When I was in school and I was a kid, I remember being out and being just very proud, or,
Mhm.
walking into a room of people that didn't know I was gay. Once one person found out that I was there, everybody knew. And I knew that that's when it becomes unsafe. When it
Mhm.
feels like everyone knows something about you that you don't know, or
Right.
everyone's looking.
Oh, no, you froze. Oh, there you
That was my phone ringing. Um,
Oh, no worries.
um,
They're like, "Get ready for your show." Just
yeah,
kidding.
no, 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 no. When everyone makes there's that, that feeling when you're walking into
No,
something that you shouldn't
they
be.
want you to be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we walked
Or I
into
get,
a
yeah.
we walked into a just a soda shop in Gettysburg, and there were Confederate flags on the door, and I walked in with Bob, and I walked in with I forget who else was there, but we were the minorities of the minorities. And when we walked in, those cartoons where they're
Mm.
playing the piano, and the bad guy walks into the saloon, and the piano guy closes
Yeah.
the piano, and he's like, gotta go.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it was that in real life. It
Oh.
was all the heads were turning and all the whispering started, and we were
Oh,
just there
no.
to get a drink. But Gettysburg was one of the scariest places,
Oh, wow.
aside from Missouri.
Huh.
Missouri was really hard too.
I would not expect that considering, you always think of the North being more open and accepting of people, but I guess if it's a small town, it's a small town wherever it is.
Yeah.
That's disappointing, but maybe with just normalizing, because I had Laura DiCarlo on, and she made a point of saying, "Just talk about it all the time until people aren't uncomfortable about it anymore." So I think the more shows like We're Here and all the other shows that just not necessarily, I hate using the word normalize it, but just represents real America as opposed to
Well,
the cookie cutter versions of America TV has been doing.
and I think that that's the thing with HBO and with We're Here,
Mhm.
and the real significance that it's going to make, the impact that it's going to have,
Yeah.
is that there is someone in each one of these episodes that you can relate to, regardless
Mm.
of how you identify them. It's such a heartwarming and heartfelt, and really, I personally am not the same person that I was before I started working on this show.
Oh,
Each and
wow.
every single one of these people's stories has impacted me. Every single one of these towns that we got to visit has impacted me. Um, The opportunity has made a huge difference and an impact on me. So it just takes one person's idea, or two people's idea for that matter. Thank you, Johnny and Steven,
Yeah.
to change an entire community's life.
Here's hoping because it's definitely an antiquated way of thinking, and I hope, well, as an ally, I hope that we can all work towards that. Because is there speaking more of we're here as well, like, what were some of the things that changed about you from doing the show?
Well, I mean, I realize that people are only educated with what they know.
Mm, right.
You only know what you know, and what you know is what you know, if that makes any sense at all.
Oh, no, it does, 100%.
And so there are people that couldn't tell you why, but just know that they do it that way because that's how they were taught.
Right.
And
Mm,
and I learned that stupidity stems from the top. It doesn't come from the bottom.
hmm, very good point.
Yeah, and I
Now
don't. I guess I don't
yeah,
mean stupidity. That's kind of judgmental. To
it's lack of
call,
intelligence.
yeah, lack of intelligence or
Mm,
uneducated.
mhm,
Education is, people who are educated are these young kids, these young up and comers, the new generations. Those are the ones that are educated. The ones that are older, that are teaching the youngers, they're not educated, and they don't care to be taught anything different.
I would say that's true. And, I'm not to be ageist, because some do, some, but they're a very rare few, so I would implore you to talk to your grandmas, your aunts, your uncles, or whoever
Yeah,
about the conversations that we're having, and you maybe even showing them we're here or something on that level that just kinda opens up that conversation. Because just because you're not in that community doesn't mean you can't help that community and be an ally and show that, "Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that, grandpa. Why are you saying that?" Make
yeah,
it
and
awkward for them.
you know what? We're here is going to open up a lot of opportunities to create more dialogue for people.
Mhm.
It's the coffee table book that you see when you walk into a crowded room. It's a conversation piece. It's something that is going to help get conversation started again about a
Mhm.
topic that is not going anywhere. Drag is not going anywhere. People's lives are not going to just stop because they live in a small town. There
Right.
are gay people everywhere, and all of our lives are affected, much like anybody who has ever had cancer or HIV can tell you. Your life will be impacted by someone in this lifetime, but who either has it or is dealing with it or who has dealt with it.
Mhm.
You're going to know someone who is gay. You're going to be interacting with or have somebody who knows someone who is gay. That's just the world we live in today.
Yep.
And
Or it
we're
could be in
here
your
to
own family.
yeah,
So,
we're
yep.
here, or maybe even yourself. And
Mhm.
the one of the greatest things that happened about the quarantine and we're here was that they decided they were going to make the first episode free, so
Oh,
everybody can
great.
watch it tonight on YouTube for free on HBO's YouTube channel
Oh,
at nine
wonderful.
o'clock Eastern time.
Make sure I put that down. That's great. That's so nice that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, what are you looking forward to do first when the quarantine's over, and let's just say there's vaccines or cures or something? Who knows? Because who knows when they'll really be all
Yeah.
over. But what would be your first thing that you're looking forward to do?
I just want to give someone a hug and feel the weight of another person hugging me back. I think
Mhm.
that's been the most difficult thing through this, is
I
because
would agree.
I feel like human beings require and desire and have a longing to be affectionate towards one another. In the wild, animals are affectionate to each other all the time. And I
Mhm.
think the one thing that is going to cause a lot of people to have PTSD from this
Yeah.
is the lack of interaction and the lack of human touch. I think that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is to just give someone a hug and feel them hug me back.
Mhm. Yeah, and
What
you
are
give,
you
like, the
looking
best
forward to?
hugs. Oh, man, I mean, I just hope it's by my daughter's birthday so we can have a party. Like, I just or go somewhere for a vacation to enjoy each other and
Yeah.
not be within these same walls. Although I love our house, like, I have a much more appreciation for my house because I kind of felt that it was more of a prison up until this quarantine, ironically, because I've I just felt like it kept me stuck in North Carolina in a bad way, but it doesn't, like, it was
It's
my
all about
mindset.
perception.
It really was
It
because
really
I
is.
love my house.
Yeah, it's you get it's the same thing. I was just telling a friend of mine earlier today. I said, this whole quarantine thing is literally the real life version of what it's like to be inside someone's head. So
Mhm.
you're stuck inside your house all the time. How do you make yourself comfortable within that environment and change the things that you want to change about it? It's
Yeah.
the same thing that I tell people about their mental status and their well-being, as far as mental and emotional health. You
Mhm.
have the power to make changes to live there and love living there,
Yeah.
instead of just being feeling like you're trapped or feeling like you don't have a choice in, the way that you feel. That's not
I
true.
mean, no, and, like, part of it for me was also that I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do because of to go back to those antiquated people, but, HB2 law kinda killed the film industry here,
Hmm.
and so I haven't been able to work in film as much as I wanted to, and that was the thing, like, I didn't have the creative outlet to be able to do what I wanted, and so now, I mean, I guess the golden egg in all of this for me is that I can now do a show without having to depend on someone else to do it. Like I'm a one woman show, so to speak. Well, no, not so to speak. I am a one woman show. And so that would be one of the pluses. And I think that's relieved that prison feeling as well as like, I'm not trapped by my location to be able to do what I love to do.
Right.
So, but speaking of loving what you do,
Yeah.
Miss, we have to talk about Six. So, how did Six come about? What made you come up with the name Six? And what drag name would you give me?
Well, you're always going to be a seven.
Oh. I guess that works. I think the letters in mine. Oh, well, I won't give it away. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Okay, I was gonna say because I think all my names are sevens except for my last name until I got married. They were all seven as well, and
Yeah,
yours are all six, and that was
all sixes, and
we
that's
kind of
that's
fit.
where. So six came from. Honestly, the one of the very last days, or one of the very first days of me getting sober, was me having this, um, forward thought in my head, almost like a premonition in my
Mm,
head of what the future held for me. The longer that I got sober and what could actually happen to me, um, if I just stayed on that trajectory. And I
right.
started thinking about how I could integrate myself back into the community, how I could make a difference by telling my story, how my story could impact the lives of so many other people. How drag has always been such an outlet for me, because I get to do hair and I get to do makeup and I get to create costuming and wardrobe, and I get to do it all for myself. I've been spending the last 10 years trying to be a superstar makeup artist and hairstylist working for other people. Never in a million years did I ever think that being my own makeup artist and my own hairstylist would warrant me the kind of happiness that I have right now. And so drag has given me, um, an incredible opportunity to just live inside my house and be happy with where I live. And that's the first time in my life that I've ever been able to say that I'm truly, genuinely happy about where I am in my life and what I'm doing with my life. It's not always the most lucrative, but
Yeah.
I don't think anything that's really rewarding, is based off of the financial or the lucrative. If you're truly happy, it doesn't matter how much money you're making.
Right.
For me, it's about, you know, when I die, they're not going to say, well, he had 52 cents in his bank. You know,
Right.
they're going to say he impacted so many lives. He taught so many people how to love themselves and how to, reach out and love other people. And I think that that's the most important thing for me. I'm not going to, you know, whether being gay and having a legal marriage is okay with you or not. I've never been, ever since I was a kid, I was never told that I was going to have children, that marriage was ever going to be a possibility for me. You know, I've actually been told all of the opposite. You'll never get married. You're going to die of some nasty disease. And you're never going to find happiness. And
Mm.
so I kind of had just resigned myself to those three things being true my whole life. Um, so that being said, just because I'm not going to have children, or just because children doesn't really seem like it's going to be an option for me, um, uh,
You have nieces and nephews. You're the
I
best
do.
uncle.
Oh, I love you. I do. But
Yeah.
it's where I'm going with this is that, I'm not going to raise a family, so I have to make the world and the people in it my family. I am not
And you have
going
a
to have.
lot of drag daughters and as well, like,
I do have 5 drag kids. Yeah,
uh-huh.
and I love them all so much. They're all so incredibly intelligent, very bright, and very talented people. And I'm so excited that they're a part of my life. It's not easy being in this lifestyle.
No.
And a lot of the kids nowadays, they think that they can get their education and they can get everything that they need from YouTube or some infomercial or informational channel. And, there's a level of respect to being older and being
Mhm.
still alive in this community that a lot of these kids don't understand.
And we
And
have to speak about that just for a minute. I don't want
yeah,
keep going. I don't want you to forget what you're saying, but I just don't want to
no,
forget.
tell
We need to
me.
speak. Well, I was going to say, like, another thing that's exciting about you doing drag is that so many people kind of give up on the idea once they hit a certain age, like they won't be able to pursue their dreams, that they can't still come true. And I mean, you're a little younger than me, but what?
I am a whole year younger than
Oh
you.
my God, 6 months.
I,
Okay.
what year
Wait,
were you born?
76.
But what month?
January. So I started the month, you almost okay, 10 months. All right.
No,
I
but
don't ever do the math.
what? How old are you?
44,
And how old am I?
43.
So that's a whole year difference.
You got that new math, that common core.
Ready? 1 + 1 = 2. 3 - 1 = 2. Let's
All
go.
right, you're right. You're right. All right, so a whole year younger than me. But I mean, I think that's so fascinating for so many people to hear another true life because you hear about the guy that plays God all the time. I can't think. Morgan Freeman, how he started
Uh-huh.
his career later in life, and Viola Davis, and so many other people. I'm blanking on other people because I didn't even think I was going to ask you this question. But I mean, how did that feel also like just going from like, thinking you were just gonna be a hairstylist, not just because 'cause you're an amazing hairstylist. I mean, you were
Thank you.
my hairstylist as well as eyebrow specialist,
Years.
um, for years. And but how did I mean, like, when you were going back into drag, I'm sure that first drag performance, you had to have all the nerves and seeing all the 20-year-olds or so on around you and just think twice about it. How did you overcome that for other people who might be thinking, "Oh, well, I'm in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. I can't still have my dream." And you
Well, I
clearly
think
do.
I think the one thing that I had on that that outshined anything that I was wearing physically was
Mhm.
confidence. And there was a level
Mm.
of confidence that you wear when you do drag, or for instance, when I do anything. I know I'm a very confident, very understood, confident person. And so the
Mhm.
one thing I never put on, the thing I never leave the house with is self doubt.
Okay.
Once I start doubting myself, that's when other people have an opportunity to allow me to question my
That's
own.
deep. Yeah.
I don't wear self doubt, and I don't allow other people to encourage that self doubt within me. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, of course, being 43 years old and being a drag queen in West Hollywood,
I
it's
mean
not like I'm like, oh, come on, sit up by the bar. I mean, I'm actually.
But I mean, they make it sound like in the gay community, once you hit 40, you might as well be a golden girl. You know what I mean?
You are a golden girl.
Because that's the
You
way it is in entertainment
absolutely.
industry. It's almost the same trajectory in that or same stereotype in that
100%.
sense.
Once you're 30 years old, you're considered over the hill.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like, I mean, anything that, I mean, look at fashion and look at models.
Mhm.
If you want to be a designer, you can be as old as you want to be. But if you want to
That's
be a
true.
model, if you want to be the adoration of an entire community, of an entire industry, then you need to be within a certain age range, and you need to look and act and talk and walk a certain way. And the gay community is definitely a huge part of that. For me, that's been my understanding and that's been my experience. So it's nice to be able to prove all of the stereotypes wrong.
I
And
love it.
it's nice to be able to say and stand behind my age and be proud of it instead of being so ashamed. I think that there are so many people in the world that want to shame you for doing what you're doing because
Mhm.
they don't have the courage to do it themselves.
Amen
So
to that. I know
I don't.
watching your show on Quarantine Queens makes me wanna be a drag queen, so is there a way for women I mean, I don't wanna infiltrate your business there, like, I know we gotta stay in our lanes, but at the same time,
No,
is
I
there a
think
woman version of this? Because it
you know
looks
what.
like so
That's
much fun.
again, that's the greatest thing about we're here is that
Mm.
drag is really for everyone. It doesn't really
Oh,
matter if
yeah.
you're gay or straight, male or female, black or white. It doesn't matter. Drag is an interpretation of who you want to be on the inside and portraying that on the outside. And there are so many different forms of drag and so many different cultures that identify with drag as it is. Drag started way, way, way back in the day with, um, back in the Shakespearean times
Right.
and back in Asian culture where women were not allowed on stage and men were. So men had to dress as women or dress as girl, which is I think, anagram for what drag is dressed as girl.
Oh. I never knew that this entire time.
Yeah, dress
'Cause I
as
always feel
girl.
like when I'm saying it even that it sounds like a slur because there's nothing dragful, like it's I feel like
Yeah,
drag sounds like something dragging you down.
yeah.
Knowing that makes a whole difference. I had
Yeah,
no idea.
there are a lot of cisgendered females and
Yeah.
cisgendered males that love to dress up and love to do. I mean, cosplay is a form of drag.
Mhm. Right.
It's
Very
just
much so.
it's just a matter of what you choose to call it.
Mhm.
I think that so many times, especially here in the United States, I think that we get so fixated on the
Labels.
compartment that it
Right.
belongs in, and we fail to realize what's actually inside the box. So drag is just uh, the inability to survive within a compartment.
Right. And I wanna talk about this as well because I have people who have I think we've even had this conversation before where people will automatically assume that because you're drag that you also are transgender or wanting to be a woman and so on, and you're still, like, full male. And so will you explain that as well, that this is a job, that I perform as a drag queen, I don't live my life as a drag queen?
Right. Well, I believe
Or at least you don't. Yeah.
what I do is more of a theater interpretation art form, whereas anything
Mm.
that I can't really I can't really talk about what sexuality is for an individual. I can tell you that drag for me is not a sexual preference. Me dressing as a girl does not then in turn also mean that I'd like to be a girl or feel like a girl or look like a girl all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but for
Those
some, it
guns
does.
prove it, just for the record.
For some, it does. And I think the
Yeah.
most important thing about the lifestyle that we live in the current climate and the time that we have the luxury of living in. This is a
Mhm.
luxury to be so informed and have so many opportunities to educate yourself just at your fingertips at all
Yeah.
times, no matter what.
And
Is to
so many schools are offering free education as well now, so
I say ask. If you're not sure, ask.
yeah.
One of the best things that We're Here did in the very beginning was they took and gave us a gender identification
Hmm.
course. It was kind of like a course in gender identity,
Oh,
how
neat.
people identify, what they like to be called, how they like to be referred as, whether they prefer male or female pronouns. It was really informative, and I suggest anybody who is questioning or has questions about sexuality or sexual identity,
Mhm.
that there is so much information and so much education out there that you can
It's
really inform yourself on your own. But
yeah.
I always say, if you really want to know and you can ask somebody without being disrespectful, by honestly saying, hey, I'm trying to educate myself. I have trans family members now, my chosen family that are
Mhm.
trans, that I don't fully understand how they feel. So the best way for me to understand how they feel is to ask them, and I do. I'll ask them all the
Yeah,
time.
because it's so individual.
Yeah, when and
That same thing, yeah.
it's so individual and it is so personal. But sexuality is personal. Sexuality is a
Mhm.
lot like relationships. It is personal and private, and it should remain so. If you,
Honestly, I think it should be taught during health class even, in
but
that sense. Like,
it
they only teach sexuality in one way, of course, the abstinence, but they don't teach the different levels or the different genders that are now or even the different communities, and I wish
because
they
it would
kinda
never
did.
end. It would
Yeah.
never end.
Well, I
It
mean, just
wouldn't.
starting something, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
be
but
more
that's
inclusive.
why. But that's why it's you always have an opportunity to educate somebody. It's why I'm so
Mhm.
grateful that you're doing this show, because
Oh, thank
you're
you.
educating people one show at a time, one day at a time, one interviewee at a time, on something completely new. So
Mhm.
you're getting a huge education, and your audience is getting an even bigger one because you're sitting there, you get to ask questions.
Oh, the joys of being nosy finally pick up. Finally or something. Just kidding. I like our conversations are just like this off air. So,
All the time.
but speaking of questions, one of my dear aunties, she has a question. Any makeup advice for old women who have no idea about makeup?
Yes, absolutely. I would say that the less makeup you wear,
Hmm.
the better it looks. It used to be back in the day when makeup was just being invented and technologies were just coming out, different formulations were coming out. Theater makeup was really the
Right.
only makeup that they had. It used to be the more you put on, the better it is. Nowadays, it's the less you put on, the better it is. I always say, get your skin right, make sure your skin is healthy, take care of your skincare, because regardless of what makeup you get or what you decide to look like when you put makeup on, your skin and that main foundation has to be right, or anything else you put on top of it is going to be wrong. So my number one with skincare, especially not just with, but with all skin,
Right.
no, regardless of the color, regardless of the age, is to take care of your skin. That is the first and foremost. If you have great skin, it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
Very true. And she does have great skin, so I can
I
speak
believe it.
to
If
that.
she's related to you, honey.
Look, because I be looking like, auntie, can you at least pretend that you're related to an esthetician?
Yeah,
Can you please? But yeah, I mean, she
yeah.
definitely has that. And oh, so speaking of skincare, your skin is fabulous. What do you use?
Honestly, my skincare is absolutely atrocious. I
Oh my
use
God, don't make me mad.
I use hot water and a washcloth, barely, and then I use Nivea.
Okay, I'm not completely mad at you,
That's I. This is
but the
what
hot cloth, really
this is what I use
lukewarm.
every single day of my life.
Is that just your moisturizer?
That's all I use. I don't use
What
things
is
to
wait, what
hydrate.
is your cleanser?
I don't use cleanser. I just use water.
How do you get all that drag makeup off? You wear
Oh,
layers.
yeah. What? Wow.
I'm not saying it in a negative. I mean, your skin is great. But I'm just
No.
saying, like, you
Um,
have
I'll
all
use
that
a
eye makeup on.
I'll use a Neutrogena makeup wipe, but
Okay.
I don't use soap on my skin.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
See, he's one of those men that can just get in the shower, come out of the shower, and fresh like a daisy. But what he's
No, but you
not
know what?
telling you is he also goes to a med spa, not during quarantine, but pre-quarantine. I'm gonna tell the truth. He does go and get some skincare done there. And I guess it's good enough that you don't need to keep it up every day. Your your esthetician is like, "Thank you, Camille."
Yeah. I forget sometimes that you're an esthetician first and an interviewer second.
I mean, I used to do your face, so I will say that his skin is pretty much perfect, and when I used to do your skin, you would get maybe 1 or 2 every once in a while, and it was always because you were on the phone more, probably because you were ordering all that stuff for your salon, but it was always,
Well, but I
um,
also
like,
too, I remember back
situational.
when I was younger thinking that I needed to have more. And the more I used skincare, the more
Mhm.
I was breaking out. And now
Huh.
I use none of it, and I don't break out. I don't have problems with my skin, but I'm also older too. So,
It could be coincidence. Just wait. All that bad skincare you're doing. But you also have a professional that's fixing all the things you're doing. You better take better care of your skin. I'm gonna send you some stuff. Jeez Louise. Oh, and everybody Danny has said it twice, so I make sure because I was gonna get to it. A, they love your lips. I
thank
love
you.
his lips.
Thank
And
you.
so, um, go to his Instagram and you get more details about that.
Yeah. Los Feliz
Yeah.
Med Spa, honey.
What is it? Los Feliz Med Spa?
Los Feliz Med Spa. I just have the upper done. The lower is mine, but the upper, I had gotten into a car accident and I got damaged. The inside of my lip started coming on the outside, and so the lip injections actually help to even that out, and it makes me
Ah,
look better in drag. So, what
I
more do you
mean,
want?
I have pictures of your before. They weren't that I mean, they're definitely fuller
Yeah,
now, but they weren't I mean, you always had full lips
yeah.
naturally.
I've always had really full.
Like,
I've always had a thick mouth.
oh, yeah, that too. So, all right, let's see more questions. Look at you both. Oh, does all your makeup mess with your skin from drag? But I guess not.
No, because I don't sleep in it.
Okay. Good. Like
Sometimes
he's
I
lying a
don't
little
sleep in
bit.
it. Well, you remember some days that you call me and it'd be a long day and I would be so tired I'd just go right to sleep.
And I would be
But
coming through that phone.
yeah, but nowadays I take my makeup off the moment that I moisturize immediately after.
Okay.
And I
I
use good makeup. I don't use
got
makeup
you.
that is bad makeup. I use good stuff.
Go ahead and tell us, run us those brands that you love. So for anybody
I
that can get them, because you
love
use pretty reasonably priced makeup, which is nice.
Yeah, I use Jeffree Star for the colors and shadows. I use MAC Cosmetics for my
Okay.
skin tones and foundations. I use Camille lashes for all of my lashes, both the uppers and the lowers. And
Oh, yeah, so you're wearing lowers and does that ever affect your vision wearing both?
no,
No. Huh,
no, it
okay.
actually creates more of a. It's almost like a horse with blinders on.
I
So
got it.
I can't really see what's going on the side of my head. I can see what's going on directly in front of me or like immediately off to the slight peripheral, but
Okay.
I can't really see what's going on full peripheral. So
Yeah.
it's kind of great when people are like, "Hey, I'm trying to talk to you." And I'm like,
Can't see you, don't know it.
"Sorry, don't even
I'm working.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, honey. I didn't even realize."
I mean, because you wear some full on beautiful I mean, that's why I did my makeup a little bit
Wow.
more today was because I didn't know which one I was getting, but I didn't want to be the ugliest one on TV.
Well, honey, I wasn't gonna put any makeup on. I wasn't in any way, shape, or form gonna compete with that beauty.
Aw, you're full of it, but aw, like,
I
and
know.
plus, I know Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you go full drag, so I was not expecting. I was kinda hoping you didn't, because I know how much time and effort you put in all of that. I mean, the artistry of it all is just absolutely stunning.
But for every amount of work that it is the
Mhm.
most incredible
Mm.
profession and something that I can't imagine my life not having.
I'm so glad you're doing it. I
Thank you.
can't wait to see, like, a real show live. That's what I would do. That's the first thing I'm gonna do is come visit and see your show live. That would be it,
Yeah.
because then I would see my dad at the same time.
Or let me come to a city near you and have you come see me live.
Look, we tried that before, and then
I
corona happened.
Then
Oh.
Corona happened. That's right,
I
because
was so excited. I was gonna come try to visit you in Spartanburg.
we were in Spartanburg, and they literally said they packed us up right in the middle of filming and said, "Time to go home."
Yeah, and, like, when I heard that, I was like, "Yeah, my daughter's not going back to school." If film industry is shutting down,
Yeah,
that's all I needed to know, because
yeah.
film industry shuts down for nothing. I mean,
And who knows if we'll
Danny
open
flew
back
in through
up?
a hurricane. I'm sorry?
And who knows when we'll open back up?
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you're doing those shows at night, 'cause just like you were saying, my show educates people, your show gives us entertainment stuff to laugh at as well
But that's the
as
most
of the
important
beauty.
thing. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing right now is to really just keep things normalized, as
Mhm.
normal as we can make them.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost
And
9 o'clock.
Yeah, as normal as we can make them. That's the most important thing, is to just keep things more the most consistent that we possibly can.
Yeah. Well, I don't wanna miss your premiere. I mean, it's on
Yeah,
my DVR anyway, but it's 9 o'clock, so
9
this
o'clock,
time went by
honey.
really fast. We'll
I love
FaceTime
you.
later. I
Thank you
love
for
you
having
more.
me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for finally agreeing to be on my show. You guys, I've been begging, which I understood because you had a lot going on
A
and you were
lot.
always traveling and working and
Yeah.
stuff, but I was like, "Dude, I started this new show. Can you ever?" And it was on radio at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, "Yeah, actually, never mind. That's 5 o'clock in the morning your time." So then when I started my own show, I was like, "Would you please let me?" He was like,
Well, you're
"Dude, I'm
amazing.
busy."
You're killing it, and I'm
Oh,
so proud of you, and I love you so much.
ditto times 100. I'm so proud of you. Like, you're my inspiration
I
for,
love
like,
you.
not giving up because I've
Yeah.
seen everything you've done, everything you've gone through, and it's just made me realize, like, what are my excuses for not trying? If Jeremy's doing it from a pole, you can definitely do it. Just at your desk at home.
You're amazing. I love you so much, Camo.
I love you. All
Talk to
right,
you
we'll
soon.
talk later. I can't wait to
I
watch
love
your
you.
show.
I
Go
love
watch your
you.
show,
I hope you
guys.
guys enjoy it. We're here 9 o'clock, YouTube,
HBO.
HBO.
Yes,
Love
absolutely.
you.
Thank you again. Love you.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. How much fun. Okay, we'll have to have him back because I think I did ask all the questions, but if not, text them to me or I mean, message them to me. I'm getting that casual, and we'll find out more. But I also wanted before we leave, I must tell you guys that we're doing my first contest. And let me just tell you, it's going to be an Instagram post. What you have to do is self-care bingo. So whoever gets to bingo first wins the prizes. You have to post a picture of yourself doing these self-care different things. It's going to be a lot of fun, very simple. All you have to do is tag all the people who are involved, and some of the prizes include, wait for it, glow skin beauty gift. That's what I use on my skin. That's my foundation. That's my colors. We're here. That's the show. Danny. It's on HBO. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I addressed that right away because it starts right now and it's already on my DVR, so I can rewind it. And the Glow Skin Beauty gift set is a new protection essentials kit and a home care collection that will give you spa results at home valued at $600. So they're full size items, they're not little sampler sizes. That's gift number one. Gift number two, I don't know if you remember Laura DiCarlo, who was here last week telling us all about owning our pleasure. Well, she's also has given a gift, the new Onda toy, ONDA, that's also going to be one of the gifts you could win. And then if that's not enough, the wonderful earrings that I wear almost every single day, different color each time, you could win one of those as well. So make sure you tune over to my Instagram. I'll have more information about everything that you can win, how you can win, I wrote it all out to be able to to share so I wouldn't forget anything because this is my first contest and it's going to be a lot of fun. And the goal is for you to get the winning prize by Mother's Day. So, a perfect gift for your mother, essential worker in your life. You could give it to them. If you don't want to use it yourself, there's options here. I'm just really trying to help and give back all the opportunities that have been given to me as well. And just wanted to make sure we also took good care of each other. So self-care is very important, I think, during this time. Taking the time to enjoy yourself and people around you or by yourself, whatever works for you. Anyway, go watch HBO, or if you don't have HBO, it's on YouTube. We apostrophe RE. We're here is the name of the show. It's got Bob the drag queen, Shangela, I can never say a name when I'm thinking about it, but Shangela, I want to say, yeah, I'll stop. Shangela, and of course, Eureka, who is Jeremy's sister, drag sister. You guys are going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. Watch it with your family. Tell me how you like it. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. I have the Cohen brothers. It's only one show again tomorrow at Friday, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock in California or West Coast. And see you guys then. Go enjoy the show. I can't wait. All right. Awkward. Bye time.